True sacrificial love to the wrong person is going to be an extremely painful experience. The opposite of rewarding. And therefore, that's why you should be careful with who you love and love for the right reasons. The right reasons are very clear. You can see in your head, I'm sure every person who has fallen in love, and by love I mean the chemical love, and by sacrificial love I mean the love that requires someone to be able to commit, the love that requires someone to be able to do all the things which would constitute a good relationship, but they fall in for the wrong reasons, and inevitably with the wrong person. Then what happens is something extremely painful. The sacrificial love that you were giving, that you were supposed to give in a relationship in order for it to work, is not reciprocated with the unconditional love, which is the most rewarding thing in a relationship. The unconditional love in a relationship is exactly the same unconditional love, the sacrificial love overall that God gives to us. But if you take that sacrificial love and give it to a person which you know you shouldn't be with, not even if you're religious, or even from a logical perspective, right? Maybe your friends have told you, hey bro, what are you doing with that girl? She's not good for you. Don't you see how she's treating you? She doesn't look, all of that stuff. If you know you shouldn't be with that person, you are going to get hurt giving something that is not so easy for someone to give. It is not easy to love, especially sacrificially. Guys, it takes time to love. It's very hard to love. And if you love the wrong person, you're going to hurt yourself. So make sure you love the right person. Make sure you love the right person for the right reasons. Or else, guess what? I can't deny the biological reality of how our brains work. There's a limited amount of oxytocin in our brain. There's only so much reward that we can get from the bondage with the right people. And if you don't listen to the things, to the indications which are very clear, you're going to end up loving the wrong person. You're going to end up getting hurt, and no other relationship will really be as rewarding as it could have been. That's why I am so thankful that despite the fact that I may have been a little bit dumb when I was a kid, despite the fact that some of my decisions weren't the best maybe, despite the fact that I was very impulsive, that I had really bad ADHD, despite this, I'm very thankful for the fact that at least I knew to some extent from an intuitive level that I was going to wait. I was going to wait a very long time till I found the right person. Not only even to have sex, which of course, obviously, what human doesn't want to have sex? We all have crazy sexual desires. I'm someone with a pretty high hormones, right? I'm pretty fit. I'm pretty sure I have a really high testosterone. I've always just been naturally abundant in health. And trust me, those desires were there. But I understood, possibly at least, like I said, even if I was a younger kid, I understood what it could imply for me to love the right person and confine those things to the right time of my life so it could be more rewarding than ever. And that's what you guys should do. It's not easy, of course. It's not easy because those desires will make us do things that only make sense in the moment and certainly don't make sense in the future. But if you listen to it, it's going to be so rewarding when the sacrificial love that you are giving to someone is returned with an unconditional love, a sacrificial love as well. Sacrifice, guys. Sacrifice in the moment is difficult, but in the end, it is the most rewarding. It leads to the most rewarding, to the best possible results. All right? Go ahead, give things up. Give the things which are tying you to that person. If you go into the mentality, if you meet someone with the mentality of caving in, of submitting to the lower parts of your body, which the sexual desires, dude, you're not going to love for the right reasons, and you're going to fall in love with the wrong person. Let go of your lust completely. Stop practicing it. Stop giving growth to the part of your brain which is trying to just exploit the lust. Stop doing that. You're going to, if you're watching porn, you're gonna start also having sex with the wrong people. If you start having sex with the wrong people, you're going to tie that with love. And as soon as you tie that with love, you're going to get hurt when you love the wrong person for the wrong reasons, because you have conditioned yourself that way. So cut it the fuck out. And I apologize for my curse words. I've been making a conscious effort to not say them, but I do say them at the devil so that it can go away. that can depart your soul, right? You know, maybe you can take that metaphorically, of course. But what I will say is that, guys, I've actively seen how this practice has destroyed some of my friends' lives, and for some reason, people are just not aware of it. People, like, even there's a lot of figures in today's day that just justify the men's side of the sexual acts. They don't even. Men have to take responsibility for what's happening to women as well, because we are instructed upon God to bring woman closer to God. You're supposed to bring the woman that you fall in love with closer to God. And let me tell you what, here's the thing. God may put the perfect person for you, your soulmate, the person who you love and can lust over, the person with the perfect body, which perhaps you lusted over so much, the person with the perfect heart and the perfect conditions, the perfect personality, the perfect tastes, the perfect everything, could put that person right in front of you, but you are going to throw it in the trash whenever you only look at her from the lower. When you've conditioned yourself to look at her from that way, you are not going to treat her well, and you are going to waste it. You need to put yourself accountable. You need to hold yourself accountable to that which is going to lead not only her, not only you, but your future family, your kids, in the right direction for your own benefit and for the benefit of society collectively. I'm convinced that I have been presented with that gift from God. I'm convinced. I've seen all the signs. What I mean by signs, I mean the objective analysis that I've done, the coincidences where I'm like, what are the coincidences that this would happen? And then from that, I'm very convinced with all the, and I will explain, hopefully I can break down, my personal life someday. So you guys can actually see the coincidences that I'm talking about. They're unfathomable, all right? And so hopefully you guys can see that. So you can understand also that the person who I am, the girl who I have today, is literally the perfect girl that I had envisioned, probably dreamed of. It's not like, oh, she's the one, but it's certainly like, oh man, what a coincidence. Like, that's exactly what I wanted in a girl. It's exactly what she has. Oh, look, what a coincidence. Wait, hold on. What? There's too many coincidences. This doesn't make sense. It feels like it could mean something. It feels like maybe there's some meaning behind what's happening. Or you could interpret it like some other people do. It's like, oh no, you can't say she's the one because you're gonna get hurt if you make that assumption. So just play it off as... Guys, you can choose to believe that everything is determined, that everything is objective, or you can choose to believe that there is some greater meaning behind something. And trust me, if you believe that, then surely you will be able to recognize when God puts that gift to the right woman, because men and women are meant to be together. And then guess what? As soon as he does that, it is your responsibility to keep yourself accountable and not make you your own God. It is your responsibility to make yourself accountable and guide her to God as well, so that she also has accountability, so that she doesn't end up doing something immorally that ends up hurting you too. I had to break my relationship for that. I had to leave the best gift that God has given me, the woman which I most desired, and make the hardest decision because of that. And I'm abstaining from sex. I'm doing things which most people in my society wouldn't even do. Most people my age wouldn't do, because I understand this. I understand that if you can't hold yourself accountable, no matter what intentions you have, you could have the best intentions, but no self-accountability, and you will inevitably end up almost in the same place as someone who is doing something with bad intentions, but with intent, with accountability at least, knowing that there is an element of accountability. Doing it and reflecting on what they're doing, acknowledging that they're doing something bad. It is going to lead to the same result. Both parties need to be accountable, not just men. Andrew Tate says, it's like, I'm not with women because they're not self-accountable or whatever. That's why I would never let them drive my car. And I love Andrew Tate for some of the things that he says, but I'm like, bro, you shouldn't be inviting women. Well, maybe you should be inviting women who are self-accountable, but you shouldn't be making women self-accountable in your life. Because how can you expect a woman not to cheat on you if she has no self-accountability. So are you telling me that all the women that you're with have no self-accountability, or you haven't made them self-accountable at least? You haven't taken your righteous imperative to make them self-accountable. So not only do they not end up hurting themselves and making stupid decisions in their life, but also so they don't end up hurting you in the relationship. Guys, isn't this so obvious? Isn't this so fucking obvious? I'm sorry I'm cussing, but we don't have that perspective, and we need to, because if you don't have that, you need to be self-accountable. You need to be the source of self-accountability, which inspires the self-accountability in your woman, because aren't you supposed to lead her? What are you guys doing? You have contradicting narratives that you're learning. You're not even willing to reflect on yourself and ask yourself and ask God, hey, does this make sense? You're not willing to look at things, like resources that God has put out for us. It's man, obviously, it's God, then man, then woman. And people think that's bad. But if you're the leader, then it makes sense. But you're not the leader of yourself. God is the leader of you. All right? Because it's very obvious, and I can break this down in another video, but that you need to hold yourself accountable as much as your woman needs to hold herself accountable to God, so that she doesn't end up hurting you, so that she indirectly, to some extent, ends up holding herself accountable to you as well. And so that way, you don't end up wasting one of the best gifts, and you don't end up hurting yourself in a relationship like that. So, with that said, sorry.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I don't know what's happened to me.
Are you videoing?
Yes.
Can they even hear with the blower?
I was screaming, bro.
Yeah,
I was screaming, but dude, I have...
Yeah, I'll you put that in from this side. I'll put that in from...
All right.
Scaring me there for a second.
Yeah, I'm going. Something's happening. I don't know what. My mind's going crazy, guys. My mind's going crazy. But I did not like hold you guys back, right? Because I mean, I saw you guys were still mowing and stuff like that, so I kind of took a break, and then I kept on.
Yeah, you finished everything except for that one tree that I weeded in that one court.
I didn't see. My bad. I tried to look at everything.
Like, this is a huge property.
I did it pretty quickly though, right?
I think we were like weeding for like a good hour and a half. Yeah, but there's a lot to weed. So. For one person, shit ton of weeding.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna finish this video real quick. So, as you can see, these thoughts are popping in my head as I'm working, and I feel a little bit bad about it. But I can't deny their importance, because it's things that, like I said, I'm speaking to myself here. And fortunately, this is something that I haven't screwed up on, because trust me, it would hurt my heart if I did, because I know that if I did screw up on that, then my woman would probably, you know, I'm sure actually my woman wouldn't end up cheating on me, because I found the right qualities, obviously, because I understood this. But I know for a fact that still, you know, there would have been more, you know, more instability in the relationship, perhaps, if I couldn't even hold myself accountable. Because how can a leader instruct someone to, you know, do the righteous things if you can't even do them yourself, right? And so I would have ended up wasting and hurting my heart with probably the most precious girl that I've ever met in my life. But fortunately, I caught this fast, as you should, so that you can see that that person that's been placed in front of you with the meaning, you don't end up putting it to waste, and you don't end up hurting your heart and never getting that back again, possibly. Who knows? You do, who knows? I don't want to be the person to determine that, and we all have different purposes. I can't just say, oh, she's the one. Well, dude, maybe God has a different purpose for you, to be able to tell people to stay away from a certain particular type of woman. That's why you've never found the one. Who knows? But if you're like me, you want to make sure that the love that you want to give, the love that your heart is capable of giving, and that perhaps in my case that I had never really given before, is received in the right hands. But you have to make sure that you take responsibility and ensure that it is received in the right environment, in the right place, and under the right circumstances, so that she also does not end up hurting you. She takes self-accountability, and she ends up doing things as God intended for it to be done. And that's how you can have the best relationship, and then be like me, which I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I look at the relationship of my other friends. I look at the relationship, and I am convinced. I'm convinced that I have the best. If there's something that I want to say, I have been successful at in my life, and perhaps not financially, because I've tried so many different things that I haven't stuck to one. But if there's something that I'm successful at so far, right? And I couldn't say it's going to result that way. It is having the best relationship. I have all the qualities which I didn't even think I could get in a woman nowadays, and I have it. So it's because of precisely that, and I'm articulating here so it helps you guys out, because it's such a rewarding thing for me, and I hope you guys get to experience it in your life. But I know that a lot of you, unfortunately, if you don't listen to advice like this, you're going to put it to waste. And you're going to waste that opportunity that God has put in front of you. But you need to get that connection with God so that you can acknowledge that it is an opportunity that He's putting in front of you, and so that you can walk through that door that He's placed in front of you. So that's it. I'm speaking to myself here, but I'm also speaking to you guys. And I hope you guys are going to apply it. Remember, we're made in the image of God.